What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Geekiverse's first live stream of 2023. What are we doing today? Busy Sticks, but it is not a normal Busy Sticks. We are drafting our Fantasy Critic video game draft. It's very much like fantasy football, fantasy hockey, except it's all video games. We're high off the Buffalo Sabres win tonight. Super excited about that. I'm Josiah Leroy. Feels good to be back here after the holidays. Who do I have today? We've got a full house. Oh boy, things are about to get crazy. Tim just put coffee on. He's eating pizza. Who knows what's going to happen? Tim Talbot, what's up, Tim? Look at the
What's
crazy
up?
eyes right there. Coffee eyes.
I'm ready. I'm my coffee. A lot of people get crazy when they drink beer. It's for me, it's coffee.
Coffee and
It's
pizza,
for sure.
baby.
Let my coffee freak fly.
A match made in heaven, if you ask me. Mr. Baba Yaga. John Fick, you ready to draft some video games?
I am very ready, man. I've been looking forward to this. We didn't get a chance to do it last year just because it never happened. But we've done this a couple of years prior, and it's just such a blast. I've been looking forward to this. And Happy New Year, boys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm
Happy
so
we're doing
sad
this
we
early.
missed this. I'm sad we missed this last year, but hey, we're all here. We've got probably a better year to do this in. We've got some crazy AAA releases in the first 5 months of
Bangers.
the year. Who knows what's going to happen after that? Of course, also, last but certainly not least, Mr. JT. John Tirado. JT, you ready to draft some games?
I sure am. Drafting Fortnite and Call of Duty and all those fun games. Happy New Year, all.
Hey, you got a Steam Deck now. You have no excuse not to play some of these games.
I know. Hello, everyone. I'm great. How are you guys?
Good, man. Good.
Doing well. So I'm going to let John talk about the draft rules, what it looks like, some of the 101. It'll be a nice refresher for us, of course, as well. Thanks for tuning in live at twitch.tv/thegeekiverse. Actually, we're live everywhere, I believe. We've got youtube.com/thegeekiverse where you can watch all of our episodes. You can listen on podcast services around the globe after we step out tonight. And of course, we are also live at facebook.com/thegeekiverse. Man, look at these awesome team names here. So I'm Beers of the Kingdom. It only makes sense, right? You know, Tears of the Kingdom for Zelda. John's coming back with Dry Hop Digital, which is his go-to. John's good at this. He's won a few times in various leagues that I've been in.
Peter. Sorry.
I mean,
And Tim's greatest hits. Okay, real original, Tim.
real good.
And,
You
JT,
know why? Listen. You know why I have that name? Does anyone know?
listen. Is it the name of an obscure game we've never heard of?
Yeah, for the GameCube. Right by Insomniac. No, so I feel like there's so many remakes this year. You remember when PlayStation
Yeah, greatest
1
hits.
came out?
The red cases.
PlayStation Greatest Hits, right?
Yeah.
So that
Yep.
was
Green
my
for PlayStation 1.
yes.
Oh, was it
Okay.
green?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I knew where you're going there, Tim. JT, what's the name of your team?
Fortnite for life.
Is
Duh.
it? Is it though? Is it JT?
Fortnite. Is that change my name?
Is your name Fortnite for life, or is it Thor: Love and Thunder is the best movie in the MCU?
No. Where do you see this? How do I go back to where I'm supposed to go?
You don't even have the draft
Point.
open.
John, I told you he wasn't.
How do you open a draft? How do you do this?
DT, I knew you loved Love and Thunder, but I didn't know you loved it that much.
Man.
Wait, where do I go? I'm so scared.
Well, I know it's the most. I'm so impressed you can fit that many characters into a team name. Thor: Love and Thunder is the best movie in the
I feel like it's
MCU.
gonna be
It's a
perfect
full
cut.
sentence.
Unlimited.
I'm honestly
Unlimited.
led astray. I have no idea what I'm doing right now.
Oh my god. Are you writing on the
Alright,
website, JT?
Folks,
On
there was
website. I'm
there
on
was
the
no
website.
draft.
got it,
I just
got it.
wanted to make JT's fantasy name for
Yeah.
something that. So right after
Click on the
we
Geekiverse.
get into the league today, I go to John. I'm like, hey,
Here's my stuff. This
I'm like, as commissioner, are you able to change names? He's like, yeah. Why?
Love and Thunder is the best.
But
I was
before
like, can you do me a favor?
before he even asked me what to change it to, I already had something that was almost exactly what he wanted.
It was spot on. I also said before JT logged in, I was like, he's not going to see it beforehand.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I expected him to be logged into the page by the time we started recording the podcast.
When I first saw it, I thought it
Alright.
was Joe's name. I didn't realize it was JT's. So I'm like, "Ooh."
There's a new name.
Guardians is
Yeah.
overrated is the new name. Jesus, shots are fired. It's already getting
I
hostile.
took that personally.
Pinkies.
That's
Pinkies.
versatile.
Pinkies.
That's what we do in this household because the other thing is too offensive.
Yeah, a little bit of this too.
All right,
All right.
so
I'm
John.
afraid. I'm just kidding.
All right, Pizza Tim over there. Normally on the show, we talk about the news. We talk about what we've been playing video game wise. We also love beer, right? Video games go hand in hand with beer, which is some of our favorite beverage here tonight. Now, only half of us have beers. I feel a little bit bad. JT is not doing beer for a while. Tim just ran out,
You
apparently.
didn't bring me my beer. I don't have to tell you guys.
So, John, do we want to do a quick what's about to be in our systems? Or
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
What do we got?
I've got a fifth frame. It's an IPA. Bought these for the new year because they have fancy cans. It's called Liminal Spaces, and it's the Strata version. They do different hops for this series. This is my last one of the 4-pack. I enjoyed these on New Year's Eve. They are excellent.
It just looks pretty, A lot of times, if the can art's good, the beer is good. Not always. For me, a brewery I'm not familiar with. A friend of mine, Kate, got these for me. Rogue Combat Wombat.
Ooh.
There.
I feel like Rogue
Your Wombat.
seems familiar.
I feel like that is amazing just based off the can.
Yeah.
It is a sour Northeast style hazy IPA. So lots going on here.
Interesting.
Australian
I-
hops, blood orange, and grapefruit. It's got some bitterness to it, but the tartness from like the grapefruit and the blood orange really go well with the IPA style here. So I'm definitely a big fan of it. That's a 6.7 on the percentage.
I have to say, you guys have really got me into the sours. That's all I'm about now.
I'm on a sour kick. Right now, though, I am drinking from
Nothing.
the great land of the United States, made in New York. It's a 0%er. It's Timothy Horton
Whoa.
coffee blend in a New York mug.
Look at that. Tim.
All right.
Hashtag not Ed.
Hashtag not an ad.
Right.
Yeah. Tim Hortons is
Cheers,
trash. Cheers,
Shout
gentlemen.
out Timothy Horton.
Go Sabres.
De agua.
Go Sabres.
Go
Tage
Sabres.
freaking Thompson. All
Tage
right.
Thompson. All right, man. Let's do this.
So, John, why don't you just lay out what the draft looks like, a quick refresh for us, and we'll talk draft order, maybe get into some negotiation, and we'll go.
All right. Yeah, so this is Fantasy Critic Games. Like Joe said, it's very similar to like a fantasy football or a fantasy hockey, whatever fantasy sports you're used to. The four of us have teams, or as they're called in this, publishers. We got our own, game publisher studios. And we are going to draft video games. And the goal is to draft the games that we think are going to score the best from reviewers. So they use OpenCritic. OpenCritic is a website that just takes all of the top reviewers, your IGNs, your GameSpots, your GamesIndustry.biz, all those different websites that review games and give them a numeric score. They put that together and give it a OpenCritic score. So like The Last of Us Part 2 had like a 91 or something like that. The better the game, the higher it's going to score. So you want to draft games that you think are going to score well. Couple of caveats. You got to make sure the game's coming out this year. The gaming industry is notoriously fickle. All these games that we think might be coming out this year, good luck. Good luck. The way the points work is every point over 70 that the game reviews is 1 point for you. So if you got a game, pick something up, and it scores an 85, you've got 25 points. When you pass that 90 mark, it starts to sweeten the pot a little bit because every point over 90 is worth 2 points. So, you get yourself a banger, like as aforementioned, Last of Us Part 2, you're really racking up some points there. Maybe somebody won in 2020 with that. I don't know. I'll have to go back and check. So we're all going to be drafting 6 games. There is one specific roster spot, I guess you'll call it. Like in fantasy football, you have to start a quarterback, you have to start a tight end, you have to start a defense, right? At least one of our games has to be a remake. A full-on remake. Remasters don't count. It has to be a remake. We looked through. There's enough of them to draft, so you have to use some draft priority. You got to get one remake on your roster in order to, if you don't, then that spot's just blank and you're going to put up a 0 there. The last little caveat, the last little twist in Fantasy Critic Game is something called a counter pick. So you can see I've got the screen, if you're watching the video, you can see what the rosters look like. They're all blank right now, but these 2 red ones at the bottom are CPK. Those are counter picks. You basically want to draft 2 games that you think are either going to review poorly or not come out at all, because then you'll get a 0, right? So you get negative points for your counter pick. So if you pick a game for your counter pick that ends up doing well and it gets an 85, you get a negative 25. You go backwards, basically. You gain points for every reviewed point under 70 rather than over 70. So if you happen to pick a game and it absolutely bombs and gets a 60, well, then you've got positive 10 points right there, right? So the counter pick, it's risky to try to pick a game you think is going to bomb because 70 is a low score. Not a lot of games out there reviewing 70 or below. It's really, really difficult to find games that, that aren't that good. So the strategy is often to try to pick a game that you think won't come out. The only games eligible for this draft are games that are indicated that they could have a 2023 release date. So it's not like you can just pick The Last of Us Part 4 for your counter pick. That's not even announced because it's not going to come out this year, right? So you can't be that safe. The person who runs this site has a curated list of games, that are feasibly going to come out in 2023. So that's pretty much it. We're only going to draft 6 games tonight. The roster is 12 games long. We're gonna draft our 6 games, and I think 1 counter pick, maybe 2. We'll figure that out, I guess, once we hop into the draft. And the rest, we're gonna fill our spots up with free agent signings, I guess you can say, throughout the year. So we have to stay attentive, and as new announcements are made, as games are canceled, we've got to drop games. As new games are announced, we got to pick them up, stuff like that. So this is a year-long thing. We will revisit this at the end of the year. You'll hear Joe and I talking about the updated scorings every week on Busy Sticks because it's always fun to check in with this stuff. But gentlemen, any other questions? Any other clarification I should go over here?
Could we dethrone John?
Probably not.
we
Probably
will.
not.
What? Tim.
Okay.
Pizza Tim. Why would you ask him that? Oh my gosh.
Are you
I just wanna
guys
get a
ready
comment
to
from-
lose?
I mean, if your fantasy hockey team's any indication, JT, I don't know about that one.
I'm just saying, I'm a combined 4-1 against you guys in fantasy hockey, about to be 5-1 when I beat Tim.
What's
this
your
week, so
what's
let's
your
go.
record against me though?
1-1?
I think it's 0-1. I think we played once.
I think we played twice.
I think it's whatever it is. That one belongs to me. That loss is me. I think
you got me.
I think it's just one.
To
Though.
kick off the season, it was tough, no doubt.
All right.
Yeah, I actually don't know if we played a second time. I'm just trying to will it.
I don't
into
think so. I don't think we did, but whatever. I digress. We'll play again in the playoffs.
We didn't. All right. We should talk draft order.
Yeah.
What,
So
what do we had a random draft order.
Yes, the draft order was randomized. Let's pop it up here. Where is the managed draft order? There's so many options here, guys. I'm sorry.
You got a lot of stuff on that.
Edit draft order. So we have Beers of the Kingdom, Mr. Joe himself going first. We've got Guardians is overrated, Mr. JT going second. We've got myself.
On my screen, it says Thor: Love and Thunder is the best movie in the MCU as the team. So let's just keep it that
We'll
way.
just keep saying that one. Okay.
Well, you've been delayed the entire day, so that makes sense.
That's a good
Entire
one.
day,
That's
nothing
a good-
personal.
And then four is Tim, Mr. Tim's greatest hits. So Joe, you're drawing attention to the draft order here. What do you got? What do you got in mind?
So I was thinking about before John had the order randomized today. I was like, all right, if I draw the first pick, am I willing to trade that? I mean, I think there's a few surefire hits, maybe 2 or 3. One above those 2 or 3 that is going to like be lights out, can't miss. But this is a snake draft, so there's a benefit to drafting 4th because you draft 5th.
2 in a row.
And
Yeah.
I think that's really valuable. And the question I got to ask myself, if there's a willing partner to trade, is would I rather draft a little bit higher twice in the top 8, right? Because we go 1 through 4, then 5 through 8. Or am I happy getting what I think is going to be a slam dunk right there at number 1? So I guess it's a moot point, though, if no one's willing to trade. So
Sounds
let
like
me
you're trying
ask
to
you.
tell someone on
What?
switching because you really want to not be first.
It sounds that way.
If it was
but
a
is
slam
is the
dunk
fact?
first pick, why would you trade?
Because I could have 4 and 5, which would average out to higher scores
So you want
than that
4.
slam dunk.
So you're telling me you want 4?
I might.
He's talking about 4.
Would you?
bad.
Would
Too
you be
bad.
willing to trade?
Too bad. No, hell no.
Whoa.
Not even a thought, Pizza
No.
Tim. All
No.
right.
No, Coffee
Whatever.
Tim says Pizza
Uh,
Tim. Said to Coffee Tim
quick comment.
earlier today when Pizza Tim had pizza that not to trade with Joe.
Why is Tim so angry with pizza?
So
Uh,
Pizza Tim brings the angry edge to the game. That's what
Ashley
it
Logiu, if I'm pronouncing that correct, 2 gifted subs.
Oh, awesome.
We appreciate you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you, Ashley.
Awesome.
It's,
Awesome.
It's Lo Giudice. That's how you say it. But I don't blame you because it's a long last name.
Uh,
There's that.
actually,
And JT
Al-
calls himself Hispanic.
17 a gifted sub as well.
Let's go.
The hype train. baby.
Appreciate that.
Look at that. All right. Well. All right. So Tim's not willing to trade. I don't
honestly,
know.
though, I love the 4th. I think looking at if we would have had it be the year we did this, I would have wanted the first pick. But there's so many good games out there that I want 4th and 5th pick. I
See-
feel like I'm wasting by just getting one early when I can snag a couple towards the end.
I think in the year that we did this, so it was 21. I drafted first again. Obviously, I made a mistake because I didn't draft Ratchet and Clank. I went with Resident Evil Village, which was good, but not
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank good
Right.
from a scoring standpoint. So John cleaned up on that one because he would have been second, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
It must have been. Anyway, like I think in that year where there was no clear cut, at least in my memory, like no clear cut choice, it made sense to be 4 or 5. There's a lot of really upper tier games going on. So anyway, I think I'm gonna stay put.
All right, the
Tim's
draft
not
order.
interested. Tim's the only one I wanted to trade with. Sorry, guys.
It's a good strategy. No, it's okay. Being in the middle is different. Obviously, 1 is that great benefit, and 4 is that snake draft. But hey, who knows? Maybe Tim drops the ball, and we all just get to feast after he just absolutely
Feast your famine, baby.
Probably. We'll see.
We'll see. All right, I'm gonna click. I think what happens is I just click start drafting, and it kicks to the first person, and I can see all the stuff in real time on my screen, which means the people can see. You guys all in the site. You guys all see all of our blank rosters at the moment. You guys are the right
Yes.
spot.
Let me get into. one
JT,
second.
where are you going?
JT, it's Fantasy
Oh, I
Critic.
was looking at the list. No, I was looking at the. I was been on the list the entire time.
Got it. Okay, I'm gonna
Do
click
I just
start
go
drafting.
into the- go ahead.
Yeah, you go into the league. All right, warning. Once you start drafting, you can no longer add or remove players, and the draft order is locked in. Perfect. However, if you need, you can reset the draft by reset. Okay, well, we're good. We're good. I think we're okay. All right, I've clicked start drafting. This draft is in progress. Beers of the Kingdom is up. I don't know if your screen changed at all, Joe. I don't know if you have an option to select a game or not. Maybe refresh.
Oh, again. Why? Okay.
Or in the
Oh,
left side.
he gets down the entire time.
There again. This website is basically run by one person. So this is like incredible for what it is, right? I think you might have to go on the left to like draft management, like draft your game,
I got it.
draft now or
Okay.
something. Okay, cool. All right,
Okay.
Mr.
Let's see what this looks like.
Is Mr. Beers of the Kingdom gonna reach for the Tears of the Kingdom? That's the question.
Mm.
Reach. Oh, Halo, reach over here.
Yeah.
So I think the obvious choice is a game that's been long in development. We didn't even know where it was for a while. And that's definitely going to be Skull and Bones. JK.
Too late. Locked it in.
Oh, crap. How do you remove a pick? So we're going with it. We're going with Zelda.
All right, it did pop through right away, so it's pretty quick here. So yeah, there we go. First picks on the board. Josiah picks The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Has a release date.
I think that's a can't miss, obviously, for a lot of reasons. And if you look even at just the Open Critic score for Breath of the Wild, it was 96.
Yeah.
So that one is going to, even if it's a mediocre game, people love Breath of the Wild so much that this score will be up through the roof for me. So that's the obvious choice.
I think that's the Connor McDavid of the draft for sure.
I think so. Connor Bedard, maybe.
JT, are you?
I just am picking the most obvious is Mr. Spider-Man 2.
Oh, you did pick.
Mm,
I am going with that because it's just quite obvious it's going to be the game of the year.
Man, JT, for some reason, I wasn't sure if you were going to go there, and I was so confident that I would have it at 3. I was so confident Spider-Man
Yeah,
2 would
I
fall
thought
to
it
3
would
for
go
me.
at 3.
I was going somewhere else, but I'm not going to say because I think it may be available again. So
Man, that just shakes up the whole draft for me because I was ready to sail off into the sunset with Miles and Peter. I was ready for Spider-Man. I thought
Yes.
no, I thought
Okay.
you would have gone. I thought you would have gone something like what I'm going to go with here. I thought you would have gone with maybe the most anticipated game for the Geekiverse 2023, and that is people at home. There's no anticipation; they can see my selection already. But of course, we're going with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, number 1. And I thought you would go there. That's where I thought you were going to go.
That was my debate, and there was another debate as well. But I'm hearing so many good things about Spider-Man 2. Some rumors that are probably not true, but were really cool to hear. So
There's
if
I'm
if
excited.
Spider-Man coasts, it's going to be great. Like
Yeah.
if it's anything just like the first 2 games in that series, it's going to be awesome.
But-
I love
So-
that Jedi Survivor is drafted this high because we're getting what we think is going to be a really, really awesome Star Wars game.
Right.
Not
And-
just
and-
one
and
that
I-
we'll play because we love Star Wars, but it will be a good game.
Right, and I agree, Joe. I think if it's just like the previous game, well, the previous two at least, we're in good shape. I just think we're going to be able to play both characters throughout the game. It's going to be something that's super immersive as well, and I'm really really excited for it. So
Yeah,
maybe Venom's not actually a villain.
yeah, who
Maybe we
knows?
play as him.
I think you guys both have slam dunks. I certainly don't think my game is gonna bomb, but I think there's a chance. I think I've got the most possible downside. I think there's a chance that this game comes out and it's an 83 or something like that. I think we're all obviously hoping that Respawn swings for the fences and doubles down and makes this game even better than the first one. I definitely picked a bit with my heart there. I could have gone for something maybe a little more surefire, but I wanted to get that one off the board because I'm excited for it, and I do have faith that it's got a high ceiling. It's got an incredibly high ceiling. That the floor might be a bit lower than your Spider-Man 2 and your Tears of the Kingdom, but ceiling I think is right there with those.
So the first
Sorry.
Jedi Fallen Order it was 82, which is good.
Yeah.
You're right, John. I think there's the chance that it could pan out not so well. But like to me, this is a wild card. Like that could be through the roof. People could love that to death. I mean, I'm gonna like that no matter what, right? I like Star Wars, but from a critical standpoint, what does that actually look like?
Yeah. I mean, I think.
Do you have the fear that, or at least because with John, with the most recent Pokemon, you said that there was a lot of the. You loved the game, but there were issues with it.
Yeah, that game was broken as hell. It was broken as hell.
So do you have that? I mean, there could be that fear too. That could lower some of the scores for Kingdom, right? I mean,
Oh, sure.
Not, but
no, that's certainly a possibility. Possibility,
I see what you're saying.
I don't personally think so. And again, I'm not a big Zelda guy. As I get into it, going to at some point.
That I mean,
that's what I think too.
I feel like there's Zelda just is gonna. I mean,
Zelda's gonna Zelda.
Nintendo is not Game Freak. Nintendo is not gonna release a Zelda that's less than as perfect as it can possibly be on the Switch. Game Freak is fun. Yeah, Game Freak has to put out a Pokemon game every year because they have to compete with the cards and they got to get everything out and the anime and stuff like that. They're going to put out whatever they have just because they know what's going to sell well. There's a reason that the Zelda game has taken so long. They're going to make sure it's...
This may be the most anticipated sequel of all time. And if I just can't imagine that they release anything less than stellar in many ways, like we just got God of War Ragnarok. Like, that was in a similar boat to me where that was like, okay, that first game was basically perfect. What are you going to do here? Oh my gosh, you did that and then some.
Everything.
I think that's what we're going to see with Zelda.
Yeah, but, I mean, thinking about it, I don't really know if there's like a bad Zelda game. And then you get all this hype on this too. There's no way. It's just no way that it's.
Yeah, I mean the hype is to the roof. We've all set our we've set our piece here. Tim, what are you thinking? Where are you at here? It's your pick.
Oh,
you got two.
Tell me that you were.
You've got two in a row.
Drafting, so I was waiting.
Oh no! Yeah, you've got 2 in a row here, my friend. Feel free to have the floor.
I'm gonna go with my gut here. Final Fantasy's been on a kick, and you guys haven't really been paying attention too much. I feel like to the Final Fantasy side of things, but
no,
I feel like that's a diamond in the rough because they've kind of turned the realm of traditional RPG style and started going more towards like an action RPG.
Yep.
They took a lot of the combat system from Final Fantasy VII Remake, a lot of what they've been developing with the Final Fantasy before that, and they're putting it in this new game. So
Square has been crushing it, man. Square has been doing a lot of good stuff. They've been pleasing their fans, their Final Fantasy fans. I think they've been doing good work, man. So I think that's the next most obvious pick, probably.
And that was definitely on my short list. But I think it's in the same camp as Jedi Survivor. Like this could be really great. It could maybe be.
It could blow up. Like they just came out. What was that game? Final Fantasy.
Yeah, the Rebirth. No, not Rebirth. It was like a story type.
Devil May Cry type stuff.
Right. It did fine.
Good, but the story was weird as hell.
What I want to look to is where did Final Fantasy 15 land? So that the last mainline entry. So we've got a critic score of an 81. So so again, plenty of upside. I mean, Final Fantasy 15 was like a very very troubled development game. Like that was Final Fantasy 13-2 or something like, or Final Fantasy 13 Versus or whatever. Like Versus 13. God, the franchise is so confusing.
Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Again, a very controversial game. That got 80. I think it was 88's the average. So. But
yeah, incredible.
Which is good.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. But hey, man, you have another one.
I got two. So I was torn here because I think Hollow Knight Silksong is going to be a knock out of the park, but there's no way I'm confident. Even have gotten any information on it in the past since like 20 whatever the last day 2019 or whatever. I'm gonna get my remake out of the way and go with Resident Evil 4.
Damn it!
God,
which is a
I was
God.
hoping that would slip.
That
no
is
way.
the value pick of the draft. That is the one,
Yes,
man.
100%.
That
Get
fills.
my remake out of the way, and it's gonna be a phenomenal game just by some of the so I was watching some stuff on it and some of the details they put into it. So in Resident Evil 2, he gets gifted a knife by you remember the first time you played half the game when you walk in
Oh my
and
goodness.
the guy you have the cop and he dies and he gives you his knife.
Mhm.
That knife is now in this game. Like they carry that over and put the detail in so you can tell that it's his knife. So the amount of detail and work they're putting into it, I mean, I just feel like it's gonna be knock out of the park. So
Yeah, I think it's a can't miss. It's a can't miss, and it's something that we probably all should have been talking about as our number one pick possibility. Yeah, I think you ran away with one there.
Yep.
We knock it back to myself, Mr. Dry Hop Digital. I'm not set anywhere anymore now that I don't have Spider-Man. I'm flustered. I'm not in a spot. I'm not comfortable. I'm out of my zone.
Skull and Bones. I'm
There's a
telling you.
few things I've been between, but I can't pass it up. I know that there's risk. I know it's a small team. I know that we haven't heard a lot about it. Recently, we did get a first half 2023 release date. Hollow Knight Silksong, I think, has to be the pick. I know it's a bit dangerous. It's a small team. It could slip. Of course, it could slip, but I'd be silly not to take it here.
that could
Yeah.
easily be a 10.
That
It's-
window is this, like you said, the first half of this year. I'm confident that's coming out this year.
Yes, I'm as confident as I possibly can be with the history of this game. And again, the fact that it's a small team and the fact that this game was announced in like 2002 as a sequel for a game that came out in 2017 somehow, and like we still have no idea. No, we haven't seen much about it, right? Cautiously optimistic, but I'd be kicking myself if I didn't take this game. If I gotta drop it, I gotta drop it. But you gotta risk it for the biscuit.
I like it.
All right, JT.
I'm gonna go with the one of the more popular titles here, Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, that's that's one, man. I just don't know enough about the fighting game community to gauge the hype on this, to understand how big of a deal it is. Obviously, it's Street Fighter 6, like title alone, big deal. But yeah, interesting.
All right.
Did you lock it in, JT? I don't see it on my end.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I did clicked out of it for some reason.
Now Joe's gonna get his two here.
All right, there we go.
Okay, so for me, this is kind of the game I would say I was hoping would slip, if not for Resident Evil, which I didn't think would make it all the way to number 8 here. But I'm going to get what I think or hope is not as sure of a bet as Resident Evil, but also a good value pick for my remake. It's going to be Dead Space remake.
Yeah,
So
those are the two.
lock that one in.
Yep.
Those are the two remakes.
I think EA Motive is the right team for that game, and everything we've seen so far seems to say that there's a good mix of quality, and it feels fresh for 2023 while honoring what that first one was, and Dead Space has quite the following. So I feel good with that one.
I would.
Yep, I agree.
So that being said,
Where do you go next?
for me, the next pick is also a game that's coming out very soon. So it could be make or break very early here.
Did I
But
guess?
this was all. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Fire Emblem.
Yes. So Fire Emblem Engage. Last one was very popular with 3 houses. That ended up as an 89 overall on OpenCritic from a few years back, and everyone I know was playing that game when it came out. So I'm hoping to recapture some of the magic here. I got to be honest. I couldn't tell you really one of the first things about Fire Emblem, but I know it does very well. It's a popular franchise, especially for Nintendo these days. This one, we'll see what happens. This one's January 20th, I believe, right? Anyway, this is out before the end of the month, so
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I feel like that's a really good pick. I feel like with a lot of those niche games where the people who make the game, the publishers, do just a very good job of, they don't really release stuff that's not where it's as good as it's supposed to be. And Fire Emblem is just one of those games, like along the lines of like a Zelda or something like that. Like they just consistently put out phenomenal games, and they have an insane following for it. I mean,
Yeah.
So I think you're
sure.
you're good for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good pick right
I
there.
was hoping it come back to me, but I didn't think it would.
Great pick. It's not back to you. It is, however, back to JT.
It is back to I and me. I don't know. I was thinking, NBA 2K24.
Can't do it. Oh, that's one thing I did. I did forget to mention that no annualized releases, so you can't.
Oh, well.
So
There
you're
goes all JT's picks.
another-
Even though I'm the guy every year that buys it for $100 with VC, don't play it after the first day. Just don't even ask.
another thing. Games that are in early access, that are already in early access, cannot be picked either. So if if a game has been in beta, early access, but doesn't have a release date, Tim.
What if a game goes into early access before the end of the year and it gets an open critic score then, but it's not fully released until 2024?
I believe they will not. If it has an open critic score, then I think it's good to go.
Would it have an open critic if it's early release or not?
I don't think so. I think as long as it has an open critic, it would. I don't think they would have scores on those. I think there would be a caveat that those are unreleased games. They do a good job of keeping track of the stuff and like making the rules here, but I don't think even Open Critic would put scores behind an unreleased game. So I think we're safe there.
Yeah, just curious.
So I'm a giant Harry Potter nerd, and I am going to put my Harry Potter nerd faith into this game and go with Hogwarts Legacy.
It's a good pick, man. That
I'm
game
not
looks.
confident about that pick.
I'm not confident whatsoever,
dude.
I'm hopeful.
When that game was announced, when that game was announced, I wasn't very confident that they could pull off like a big, Harry Potter RPG, whatever you want to call it, action adventure game. The more I've been seeing about it, like the more in depth and polished and like super super deep this looks. Like this looks like it might be like the Harry Potter experience, in like a pretty polished open world game. So like I just keep seeing random videos pop up on like TikTok and Twitter, like check out the new broom physics, check out the new freaking hippogriff that you can fly, like crazy stuff, right, man. So I think I'm getting closer to thinking this game might be a banger.
I think the delays have actually given me faith with this. A few times it's happened because it's that extra polish. I think that's happening really speaks to, hey, we got to get this right. There's so much controversy with Harry Potter as a franchise in the last few years and what's been going on. Anyway, they've really got to make this a quality experience for it to hit. And I think this is going to be, this is not like a fair comparison, but you think about going down to Disney World and visiting Galaxy's Edge for Star Wars. This might be some of that in video game form for Harry Potter fans to do what you've always wanted to do. So this could be really, really big. It's going to sell awesome. We'll see what it looks like from a score standpoint.
Average or phenomenal, and it's going to be one or the other.
I don't
That's
think.
how I feel about Star Wars with Jedi Survivor. Like it could be okay, or it could be like, oh my gosh, let's go. Yeah. This is a 9.5 out of 10.
There won't be an in between. It'll be either be amazing or,
right.
We'll see.
We will see. It's back to me. I still think I'm in the realm of playing things safe and trusting my gut here, avoiding what I think is best to avoid. There's a couple of things further down. I'm excited that could still be on the board. A couple of my late picks might be fun ones, but for now, I think I just have to go with Diablo 4. I think I got to go with the next Diablo game. I mean, they've gotten a little bit of ill will with their Diablo Immortal rollout and the mobile game, but man, Diablo fans love Diablo, and the third one was absolutely incredible by all regards. I think 4 is gonna be the hot commodity, and it's got a release date. That's a big part of this game. Like it has a solid release date. It's tough to see these games that just say 2023 and just hope that they don't get delayed. So this one seems pretty surefire.
No pun intended, but Diablo 3 became a beast. That game just kept going on and on and on. So I think you're safe there. This is going to do well.
I think so, Tim.
Yep. Tim for 2.
Right. All right, let me think here.
Got to think,
Hmm.
Tim.
Where do I go with this one?
Where do we go?
Excuse me.
No excuse for you, John.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna avoid that one and go to Octopath Traveler 2.
I like that
I was
one.
I was hoping would fall.
I think
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
going that route. I think that's another safe pick.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
So
it's
That's gonna be an upper echelon game. I'm telling you right now.
Yep.
it's a
It's gonna do
sequel
well.
sequel to a very highly regarded, very polished RPG from a studio that makes very highly regarded, polished RPGs, man.
It's another Fire Emblem pick right there.
For
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
Tim, did you lock it in, Tim? I don't see it yet.
I did. I believe I did. Just refresh.
Believe better.
Oh, I hit it. Didn't go. Let me do it again. Oh, I added to my wish list.
Oh, it's in your Steam wish list.
I watched. Yeah.
Cool.
Our Steam
So
wish list.
very true. So as Tim locks in that pick, we're just about halfway through the draft here. So anybody who might be listening to the audio podcast, let me go through and just give a quick recap. So we're gonna start with Josiah's team, Beers of the Kingdom. Only fitting, his first pick was Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. His second pick was Dead Space Remake. Third pick, Fire Emblem Engage. Those are Joe's 3 games. We've got JT with his very, very fun name, Guardians is Overrated. His first pick was Marvel Spider-Man 2, followed by Street Fighter 6, and then Hogwarts Legacy. Myself, Dry Hop Digital. I started things off with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Hollow Knight Silksong, and then I just picked Diablo 4. Tim, with his greatest hits, started with Final Fantasy 16, brought his remake into play with Resident Evil 4 Remake, and just capped things off with Octopath Traveler 2. Tim's back on the board again, though.
And for my my last pick, I am also going to go safe yet again with another franchise that doesn't really let people down. And I'm going to pick Forza. I think that's
Damn it!
another solid draft. So
Yeah, that one's almost like
That's a guarantee if
It-
there ever was
always.
one.
that's a guarantee 85 plus. Like it's just like yeah, the cars look good. I almost wish I would have manually discluded that game, but hey, I didn't, and you took it. So good on you.
I'll take it.
Who's
I don't feel
gonna?
comfortable with a lot of the other games out there. I feel like there's a lot of.
I know we're getting to
There's-
that point.
I don't want to say it, but I'm going to. There's a game in mind that I'm wondering
Who's gonna
take
do
the
it?
plunge.
Who's gonna
Mine.
do
In
it?
Minesweeper,
Who?
avoiding it.
I
Yeah.
know.
Excuse me.
We all
It
know.
won't be back for me. Someone's gonna take it. Someone's taking the risk.
I gotta-
know, man.
I gotta refresh here. It's not letting me draft. It's asking me to draft for the next player. Draft game for next player. I am the next player. What do you mean?
I am the Senate. Hmm.
Weird. Usually it would say draft game when it knows my turn. Now it's saying draft game for next player, as if I'm not currently on the board. None of you
Tim
got.
drafted for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Tim's is up.
Next draft, I have digital.
Yeah,
John, you
no,
are showing.
I'm showing up for me too, but I don't have the draft game button. I have the draft game for next player button, which is a management tool. I guess let's see what happens if this gives the game to somebody else. I guess we'll see. I'm getting to the point where I'm just not confident in some of these release dates. That's where I'm scared. You know, you've got stuff out there that they're gonna be good. They're gonna be real good games. But like, is it worth it to grab those games and just drop them if they don't end up panning out, or do I just go with the game that everyone has? I have considered counterpicking this game. Is how
Same.
I considered it. I don't
Make
think
your brain, dude.
I know. I think that would be a little silly. Just because it's coming out. We're talking about Starfield. The elephant in the room is Starfield, right? We're all thinking and talking about Starfield. I think it's safe to say the game's going to come out. And again, this is the person who was laughing last year when people thought it was actually going to come out last year. I was like, what are you guys talking
true.
about? What are you guys talking about in Starfield? I know it has a date. I know Todd said it's 11/11. What are you talking about? The game's not coming out this year. And it didn't, right? But I think it's pretty safe for this year. But does it, man,
Dude,
Bethesda,
Do I say
man.
it right now? Okay, so it's either there's two ways this game is received. It's Skyrim level of oh my gosh, they did it again, or It's Fallout 76. There's no in between with
I
it.
think there's in between, and I think the in between
don't
is
think so.
I think the in between is Fallout 4. I think it's another
That was really well received, though.
mid 80s. I think is where I would guess. I think Fallout 4 would sit. I think that's good, but I think there's a chance that this is just like it's another Bethesda RPG. It's like it's not broken in the sense that the game doesn't work. There's no microtransactions. It's just
It will be broken. Yes.
right, broken in a sense that like your guy's eyeballs fly out of his head and stuff like that, but like not broken in a sense that the game doesn't run and stuff like Bethesda broken, the stuff that they've gotten a pass for the last 20 decades, 2 decades, 20 years. But yeah, I'm gonna take it. I think that I got to get to the point where I'm taking games that could have an upside. I think it has an upside. Worst case scenario, I'll use my drop on it if I have to. If I really get scared about it, I can use my drop. But hey, I drafted Starfield.
There it is.
All right,
folks.
it
There it
is
is.
my turn, and I actually did some research on this game. I know nothing about it. There was a lot of talk about it, and I'm going with Like a Dragon Ishin.
It's a good pick.
That's a great pick because that's a remake as well, right?
Yeah, it's a remake, so it's purposely.
It's a
going with
Yakuza
this one.
game.
I looked up remakes. I saw that there's a remake section there, and apparently this game was never even in the U.S. in the past. So hopefully it gains some hype.
I think it's a good pick. Solid.
Is that a Yakuza game, or am I just confusing the fact that there's a game called Yakuza Like a Dragon?
It's similar like style game, but it's not.
Because there's literally a game called Yakuza Like a Dragon, right? I'm not crazy.
it's
Yes.
different.
Okay. Okay, got it. Yeah, I don't know anything about this game, but yeah, based on the hype factor and the fact that it's a remake, could be a pretty good pick.
That's the goal.
Okay. Well, studio has a really good track record here. I think I want this game to be really good. I think you know where I'm going with
Yeah,
it.
of course. We're leaving it for you, man.
I think it's time. Yeah. We're gonna go with it. It's funny. I want to say Jason Schreier tweeted out today or yesterday that if you think about it now, a AAA big studio game that starts development today won't be out until PS6. And that kind of blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh. So I think back to the studio's last game in 2015, which was Batman Arkham Knight. This is Rocksteady, of course. I'm going to go with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. They've given me no indication to think otherwise. Those 3 games, their trilogy of Batman games, were phenomenal to varying degrees. Arkham Knight, people think maybe it was good, not great. But the first 2 legends in my mind. I'm curious to see what they do with this property being Suicide Squad. Everything looks fun from the trailers. I don't know if this this property, this IP is just a little bit too much at this point. Like, is it done to death? We'll find out. I hope they put a fresh spin on it. I am confident if there's anyone that can do it, it is Rocksteady. So Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. That's out hopefully in just a few months. But John, we do have a pizza bet for that, right? I said if that comes out anytime after May 26th.
Oh yeah, right. Yes, because you're not confident in its release date, and I'm at the point where it's like, I'm at the point where you Starfield people were last year, where it's like, oh, they put a release date on it. Like, no, this game has been through the mud in terms of rumors when it's going to come out. What even is the game? If they're putting a release date on this one, like it's gotta be coming out. So yeah, we do have a pizza bet on that one.
So this is not a fighting game, correct? This is going to be like an.
Yeah, action adventure game, open world.
Oh no, I just thought it was like what do you call it? What's the fighting game that came out with the Injustice?
Oh no. This is like an Arkham style open world action adventure game.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, a mix between the Arkham games and a little bit of I think what we've seen, but I've not played with Gotham Knights. I know JT, you and I have to do some co-op with that stuff.
Brother, you let me know.
Yeah.
Next pick for me is I've got one that I want to pick, but this pick here is one that I think will do better critically. And there's some hype surrounding it, and it's actually not that far off from a release. It's in February. We're going to go with Atomic Heart.
Yeah, that's been on my my short list here. I don't know too much about the game specifically. I know it's been delayed a lot. It's been like developed for years and years and years. But yeah, what's your thought process there?
There's a few other games that I think project to score close to that, but I think this one projects just a little bit higher. It could be very hit or miss. I don't think. The only thing is the hype is going to get lost with this game when we're talking about some of the other first 5 months of the year releases, whether it's Fire Emblem or Octopath or Zelda. Go down Star Wars. My gosh, Hogwarts. Go down the list, and that's going to be buried. But I'm hoping it still scores really well, and people look at it that way and say, hey, don't forget about Atomic Heart. I feel like we've been talking about it, or like at least we've been hearing about it forever. So we'll see if all of that extra time is actually paid off. But I'm optimistic, we'll say.
Fair enough. Fair enough. JT, it's back to you.
Back to this is where it starts to get kind of tricky, I feel like. Especially me not knowing every single game like you guys do. But I'm going to go with that's between these two.
Don't do it, JT. Don't do it.
Would it? So can we counter pick now, or no?
No, the counter picks come after all of our regular picks.
Come after the regular picks.
Mhm.
Understood. I am going to go with, this might be a crazy pick, and you guys might think I'm nuts, but apparently this is supposed to help fix the franchise. Assassin's Creed Mirage.
I have that
I
game
love that
highlighted.
pick.
Yeah, I have that up right now.
I'm pretty confident that game is going to come out, even though we see nothing on it. That feels like an late October release for me.
Yeah.
This is their comeback. They didn't have an Assassin's Creed last year.
Right.
Valhalla 2 years ago didn't do so well. And people like me want this game badly and at a lower
Right.
price point. So I can see it doing very well. And I think that could be a sleeper pick.
Right. I'm just thinking, like what you said, Joe. A lot of people are super disappointed, and they came out and straight up said, like, we know we messed up. It's not the core of the game that you're used to. We're going back to it. So hopefully that drives up the score. The hype factor isn't great, but
Yeah.
hopefully at the end the score is good.
Yeah, I think they factor a lot of stuff into that, and where the franchise has been for the last couple of installments, and
Absolutely.
some of the reception has a lot to do with that. But I'm with you.
Oh, did I not do
Good.
it?
No, it didn't lock in.
Why do I keep doing it?
Good thought process, and I think that's a good bounce back game for Assassin's Creed.
I love what they're doing with that franchise where they're splitting up. Hey, we're going to do some old school, more stealth and assassin-y stuff. It is, after all, Assassin's Creed, but we are going to do the bigger games every few years, which are the more open world RPG games that could just go on for 100 hours. That's not for me so much. I love the Odyssey, but give me the smaller scale stealthy stuff. That's back to its roots. So
For sure.
I think good one, JT.
I like that. It's a AAA game. I think at the very least, I don't think you see it sub 70, so I don't think you have to worry about negative points there. Unlike my next pick, apparently, that Fantasy Critic thinks that the projected points are going to be negative 7.34. I don't understand the lack of fight factor behind this. Quite frankly, I think this is a steal at this point in the draft. This studio hasn't missed in a while, and they certainly didn't miss with their last game. This is a bit different for them, but we're talking Arcane and we're talking Redfall. I think that game looks so cool. And coming off of Deathloop, man, like, I trust that studio to do just about anything. If you're gonna talk about Bethesda and how much we kind of just trashed on Bethesda Softworks, the actual development team, Bethesda, every other studio under that umbrella is firing on all cylinders, man. Whether it be your id Softwares, your Arcanes, who makes Wolfenstein, Machine Games, right? So yeah, every other studio was just doing killer stuff, and not the least of which is Arcane Studios, because I just think they make them some of the most stylish and interesting shooters out there. Redfall, again, different spin to it. It's got that online aspect to it, the co-op, whatever you want to call it, but it seems so interesting. I just don't think it's going to be a miss that it seems like it's projected to be by Fantasy Critic Games here. I think this is a good value pick at this point in the draft for me.
John, I couldn't agree more. That, like Assassin's Creed, is a pick that I think if that comes out and does well, that's going to come out in the summer. I think that's going to do well. There is some nice hype behind that game. It gets overshadowed a little bit by Starfield, but think about everything we've seen on it. Or even if we go back to last summer, looking at some of the presentation on that game, you're right. The track record for that studio, why is that getting so overshadowed? This game has really, really good potential, and it's going to be a really nice one for Bethesda and Microsoft.
For sure. Tim, I think these are your final 2 game picks before we get
They
into counter picks here. So
So
you got?
you guys passing up on a gem. No one really. I think anyone know. Does anyone know what Sea of Stars is? Does anyone know what that game is?
Not really. No,
Uh,
it keeps popping up. I'm not too familiar.
It's by the same people that made The Messenger.
Oh, that's what the
Uh,
sequel is.
No, it's not a sequel. It's a whole.
I
new
mean
game.
that's what their next game is. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I love the
It-
Messenger. I
Dude, I saw
love the
this game,
Messenger.
I was going through Twitter and saw this game. I was like, holy crap! It looks like a modern day Chrono Trigger.
Right.
Looks amazing. The
For-
graphics are insane. It just looks like such a good game.
For that
Um,
reason,
I-
you telling me that it's the studio behind the Messenger, I'm not confident in that release date.
They say it's summer 2023, so at least it's not winter or fall. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
So I'm gonna go with my gut here, and I'm gonna pick that one.
Awesome.
So
Yeah,
that's my.
the Messenger is one of my favorite little. I mean, I guess it's
I've
kind of
got
like,
to play it.
dude.
It's
Oh my
one
god,
that I've been wanting to play. Now
it's
that
an
it's Steam Deck, I have no excuse not to play it.
it is an awesome side-scrolling platformer, but it's also like a Metroidvania out of nowhere. Like you just don't even expect it to happen. It's like, oh, here's a second half of the game. Have fun. It's like, whoa, what? Messenger is top tier. So that's if that game does hit, I think you got something good there.
So the next game I'm gonna pick is a little farther down on the list, but I think I want to snag it now.
say
The
it.
Hellblade 2. I
Ooh.
think that'll
Okay.
be
Hellblade
good game.
2.
Do we think that's coming out?
That's
Oh, it is TBA. That's a
It,
tough one. I
uh,
didn't even see that. You might have just changed my mind.
I think that their focus is for sure 2023. If that game doesn't come out, man, Microsoft is in trouble. Like they are.
Dude, I'm pretty sure, John. I think I drafted that last time we did this draft.
You did. You did. Which and guys, keep in mind, we didn't do this last year.
Right.
Right.
But so here's my thought. I don't know why I'm helping you, Tim. That game, if it comes out, is going to be awesome.
Right.
Like that first game is superb. It doesn't get enough attention. It's so good. It's so good. It's got elements of stealth of the God of War 2018 that we just got. It talks about mental health in a way that is so seemingly relatable. It's so good. The story, all of it.
You know what?
If it doesn't, I'm with John. Microsoft's in trouble, man. Why haven't we heard more about this game at this point? Are you kidding me?
Right.
Why?
We saw a full gameplay demo at the Game Awards last year, like a 6
What-
to 7 minute gameplay. Like,
What's the
where's it
holdup, right?
been? Yeah,
Yes.
I know Team Ninja's working on a lot of things. Like
You know what? I'm going to
he's pivoting.
no, I'm gonna stick with my gut.
Oh,
think
okay.
that's,
Damn it.
you know, if it comes, it comes. If
No,
it's
it's-
feast or famine, boys. It's feast or famine. I gotta take John out. You know.
Hey man, that's a great pick. That's a great pick.
I think it'll
That-
come out.
That's fair.
I think it'll come out.
Man, I hope it does, because if it does, that could be such a big summer or fall release for me. I tell you right now, that would be awesome.
So it's on me. This is my last pick of the regular draft. Now here's the caveat. Here's the wrench in the whole thing. I haven't picked my remake yet. So if I don't pick my remake now, I've got to pick my remake in the off season. I've got to pick her up out a free agency. Is that the end of the world? I don't know if I think it is. I think we see some of that stuff kind of pop up more quickly because they're remakes, right? Some of these
Right.
ones that don't have dates, we're not even sure. Like your Silent Hill 2 remake, that's probably not coming this year. But hey, if it does, man, if I could scoop that up in free agency, if we get more information, all of a sudden that game's way further
Maybe
along.
A bust. That
Right.
may be a bust.
I don't think it's gonna be, but whatever. The the only clear pick right now available is System Shock Remake that has a March date. It's a storied franchise. Do I think people care enough about System Shock for that game to review well? Not really. I don't think I'm gonna do it. I
But
don't
John,
think.
that doesn't matter if people care about it or not. Like it
I
just
know.
depends.
It's whether
you know-
you not care. It's whether you care about it.
No,
It's
it's
whether
whether
the
the
reviewer
reviewers and I guess that's what I mean. Like, I guess I more so mean, does System Shock hold up? Right? Like, I don't know. They transitioned to BioShock for a reason. They didn't make a next one.
I feel like we missed the boat on System Shock, because if we were talking about it when this Kickstarter and all of that was going off, I was like, yeah, I want to know more about this. we're off
Right.
the heels of Bioshock Infinite, but now I'm like, oh, we're still doing this.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Honestly, there's some gems in there, but I mean, I may or may not try to pick up one of those gems, and you may not have the chance to get a remake.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
You can always
So-
go with Kirby.
Yeah, if I gotta take that 0, I'll take that
That'll be
0.
solid.
I'll probably have plenty
So
of
I'm
plenty of
gonna lean
leeway
to
over
bet on
you
every game
guys.
that comes-
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm taking another game. I'm gonna go with something that if it comes out, I think it's possible, and not even like that out of the realm of possibility. It's got a 2023 window. We haven't seen much about it. I'm going Pikmin.
Right.
Going Pikmin 4. I think it's a safe bet if it comes out. Pikmin 3 was what, an 88 on Metacritic. People love those Pikmin games. Nintendo usually makes good stuff. There's a pretty good chance this one's coming out. There it is.
I think that's fair.
Well,
If Nintendo talked about it, there's a good chance.
Yeah,
this
right.
is one of the games that I really hope releases this year. It is coming off the hype of Control, which apparently they're all part of one giant universe now. And it is Alan Wake 2.
That's a
I'm going
good
with Alan
one.
Wake. I never played Alan Wake, the first one, right? But I heard you guys talk very well about Control. I think, Tim, did you play Control? When do you guys play
I
Control?
played like a couple hours of Control.
Me and Joe both finished it. Yeah.
That's right. Both finished it, right? And when I was looking up researching earlier today and a little bit yesterday, the minute they said it was extended universe of that, I was like, I'm picking this at some point. I just thought you guys would have picked it by now, to be honest. So,
The
I'm
release
going with
date.
Alan Wake.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's good.
Excuse me, 100%. I saw that. So
Of all of our games picked right now, it's the one I'm least confident comes out this year. Everything on the board.
I'm so upset right
the
now.
risk
I wanted
I'm
that game.
willing
So
to
I
take.
love Alan Wake, and that is the perfect 6th or 5th, I guess, pick for me.
Yeah,
But,
that's a tough one.
So for what it's worth, doesn't necessarily mean it's coming out, right? Because we saw Todd Howard do this with Starfield, but Sam Lake yesterday tweeted that basically something cryptic and said there's a hint in here for Alan Wake 2 that it's coming out in 2023, all that good stuff. If it comes out, it's going to do well. That's going to be a nice fall release, AAA to a classic franchise. It's a good one. It's a good one. I'm upset right now.
Sorry, Joe.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, let's see here.
Joe, how do you bounce back from that?
So I wrote down 2 games. One was Alan Wake 2. I'm not confident the other game that I wrote down is going to come out, despite being given that window.
Yeah,
of
I think
23.
I think we're at the point here where you don't have much to be confident in release date wise.
So all right. Let's get this done.
There's a couple that I'm surprised haven't gone yet. I didn't want to take the chance on them because I feel like I went a little risky with some of my stuff in terms of like whether or not they'll come out. But there is a couple of things on the board that I'm curious about.
And
Where's your
hang on.
head, Joe? Where's your head?
I can't pull my game up.
Maybe it got canceled.
Cancel them.
I for some reason I can't do Armored Core. Why?
It's on there.
Yeah, I know. I'm searching it and it's not coming up.
Hold on.
I'm spelling it right. Maybe I've like timed out.
Oh no, maybe it's not on here.
I wonder why.
Oh no, I have
That's-
it. I have
That's
it.
number 1.
It's the number.
Why
If you go
can't I do it?
go to the watch list and click all, it should be a number 1 Hype Factor game. Armored Core 4. I'm sorry, 5. Fires of Rubicon. I can draft it for you if you don't see it.
Yeah, can you just do that? Because I can't.
Draft
Seems to
game
be
for
there.
next player. So I'm drafting
Yep.
for Joe. Yeah, I'll draft it for you. Armored Core 5. 6? 6, right? Fires.
5. That's my 5th pick, right? Oh, hang on. Sorry.
I think
That is my
it's-
6th.
it's
yep,
6th.
It's 6th. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, got you here. Add game to publisher. You
That's so weird.
Yeah, that is very weird.
Well,
Cool.
I'll take it.
All right.
There was some hype around that at the Game Awards. Obviously, long-running franchise from a studio that just won Game of the Year. So
Yeah.
we shall see. But that is going to close it out here.
Yeah, closes out a regular pick. So apparently, I didn't know this, but the counter pick starts with Tim being the last pick. He gets the first pick counter pick wise.
Ooh.
I do think we're only drafting one counter pick. I think that the other one gets picked up off free agency. Could be wrong. Like we'll find this out together. I also think that you can only counter pick games that have been drafted. I think that's the way it works, right?
Yes. I think so.
Yeah. That's
So
correct.
the refresh on this is for counter picks, we want to pick something that someone else drafted where we think it won't do well or won't come out because it'll give us points.
Right.
If that's the case. So like if it does negative points for Tim, it could do positive points for us because it's the flip side of that, right?
Right. And even if it scores only a couple of positive points for somebody and you only get a couple of negative points, that's not the end of the world. You can do real bad with a counter pick if you pick the wrong thing. Like I might actually. I might be taking a gamble
That's-
with mine.
I feel
So
like
I'm
the
taking a
teams are
gamble
pretty
with mine, too.
balanced here.
Yeah. Gambling.
I'm gambling. I'm not going for the safe thing what we always do every year of like the game that's not going to release.
Oh
I'm going
man.
based off the demo that recently came out that got blasted on Twitter for how bad it was.
Okay.
And that's Forspoken.
Oh, you can't take nobody drafted it.
I'm counterpicking. Oh, you can only pick.
You can
something that's
only
undrafted?
yes, you can only counter pick.
Ah,
So when you go to draft, you're just going to see a list of the games that have already been drafted. Yeah, that's a good pick though. That's a good pick. Forspoken would have
For a
been.
second, I was like, who took it?
I know. I thought about it last pick. I'm like, oh no, I'm staying away from that.
Oh,
Has
man.
anyone played it?
Mm-mm.
I downloaded it. I have yet to dive in. I'm like, I don't know if I care about this.
I definitely don't.
I want to.
Not gonna lie, I misunderstood the counter pick part too, Tim. I thought it was like
Okay.
just pick one that you think is not gonna
So
come out.
you,
No,
you
no,
gotta
no.
get one from. This is
Each of
definitely
us.
like head to head. Yeah, focus.
Right.
Right. Gotcha. Makes sense.
I'm doing it.
Makes it tough. Don't do it.
I'm gonna commit.
Do
I'm
it.
so sorry.
Do it. Don't be sorry at me. I'm not worried about it. I think it's happening. I think we're fine. Counter picking Starfield. Oh, that's a big one. What's
Dude.
your thought process? Do you think it won't come out, or do you think that it's really going to
I don't think
be?
it's gonna be. I don't
Feast
think
or
it's gonna be
famine.
good.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be that good.
I'm not here to go to bat too much for Starfield. I'm really not. I have like I'm like 60%. It does well. 40%. It's a shit show. So I'm not too confident.
Let me ask this: who's planning on playing Starfield?
Oh, I'll play it. Yeah, I'm gonna play it when that comes out for sure. Have some
I
fun with
might.
it.
I'm
I'll
not a
hop
big
in.
like space guy. It's just
I
not
see.
my
I'm
style of game.
a real big space guy. I'm not a big Bethesda RPG guy. I've never been hooked on an Elder Scrolls game. I've tried Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim. None of them stuck for me. I just couldn't get into them. I had a good amount of fun with Fallout 4. I think I played like 80 hours of that game. I never finished it. I'm like on the second last mission, I think. But I just had a lot of fun, like finding stuff and playing in the open world and exploring some cool stuff. So there's fun for me to be had in a Bethesda RPG, but it's few and far between. If anything can do it, it's space. So if it's halfway decent, I'm gonna play.
So, I agree with that, John. Where I'm like, hey, sci-fi? Are you kidding me? That sounds awesome. Getting some Mass Effect vibes, some Star Wars from that standpoint. But I played the whole main story of Fallout 4, and that was the most fun I had in anything Bethesda. From a big open world RPG,
Right.
and it was okay. Like I'm
Fun.
not gonna play another Fallout game. Skyrim, this is controversial. I did not care about, and I bought that game numerous times. I tried, I went through it, and you know what? When they said Skyrim in space, I was like, I think you lost me. I don't think I'm gonna play it, even if that game comes out and it's 10 out of 10. Like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah,
I don't think so.
if it comes, I think there's almost no shot I don't play it. The only shot I don't play it if it's a Cyberpunk, 2077. If that game comes out and it's just so abysmally broken and like fundamentally not a interesting game because of like systems that are missing, overpromises, stuff like that, that's why I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna skip this. But no, I think Bethesda's earned enough, enough
I'm worried about it
goodwill.
because it's Bethesda. But
Right,
I think
but again,
a lot of
the Bethesda story is weird, right? Because like the only real blunder that they've ever had is Fallout 76. That's really it. And again, they haven't put out a game since Fallout 76. And before that, they haven't put out a game since Fallout 4. So it's been a while, right? But they're a story developer. Like there's a lot of upside to Bethesda and what they do in the RPG space. I mean, they created the Western RPG. Like the Western RPG is Bethesda. That's their bread and butter. So again, I'm not sitting here saying take it to the bank. I'm slightly worried about it, just like you guys are. But I got to root for it now. It's on my team. But what do I want to counterpick? That's the question. That's the question. Man, I think I'm between two. No, I almost said two on Josiah's list, but it's not two on Josiah's list because Josiah didn't get Alan Wake 2. No, I'm looking at Alan Wake, and I see Alan Wake. I always think of you, but I'm between Alan Wake and something else. I don't know if there's much. There's not a lot of great counterpicks. These are good games, man.
No.
There's good stuff out there. Like it's just like getting. It's almost like how do you get lucky with a no release? And I think that maybe, just maybe, Alan Wake 2 can get me there. I'm going for it.
It's so tough though, because if it does release, I mean,
I don't think it's a 90. Like I don't think Alan Wake 2 is something that comes out, and I think that I don't know from what I know, Alan Wake 2 is a cult classic, right? It's not like it's got a pretty cult following. It's taken this long for the game to get a remake and to get a sequel. So like,
what did the first one do? Like when they remade it?
I don't even think they had.
I think it was before Open Critic.
Right, it was before, yeah. So like, it's a cult horror, whatever you want to call that kind of game, right? It's like a exploration horror game.
See, no, they say it's a cult classic, but like I don't know. That was a really popular Xbox 360 title. So 83 on Meta.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree. I was all in that Xbox 360 era, man. Like that was my bread and butter. Like it was always one of those games. Like yeah, I heard of Alan Wake, but like I didn't know anybody really playing it. So again, agree to disagree.
Play it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But hey, I mean, there's a good even if that game comes out, it could be great, and I could be screwed here. So who knows? That's the nature of the beast.
I think if it comes out, you're looking at maybe like an 85. Like that probably will do well with this amount of time. The reception of Control, the creative hand with Sam Lake on it. I think that's about where it lands. So it doesn't kill you. It hurts, but like
even so, man, like Control was an 82. Like I don't know. I think
Alan Wake is far superior to Control.
Fair enough.
To be honest.
Fair enough.
It's a whole different topic, I guess.
For sure. I've got a bit of confidence either way in my counter pick. So we'll see.
The real question is, where's Quantum Break 2? What are we doing here? My God.
Microsoft owns the IP, I think.
Yeah, they do. I'm messing around.
I like that game. Quantum Break was sweet.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
So I'm going to go with something on Tim's list, only because it seems, and again, there's some research here, they're debating between this and Avowed to be released this year. They're not sure if it's going to be. Hellblade 2.
Oh,
we shall see.
That
would have been my pick as well. I was down to Hellblade and Alan Wake.
Hellblade is going to be amazing. I know that it's great, right? The game itself, but or will be. I think they're debating too much between that and Avowed, and I don't think either are ready at this very moment. And it's going to push both of them to 2024 for double release.
If that's the debate, Hellblade needs to come out before that.
100%, but we'll see.
Like that's ridiculous. Oh man, what do I do now? I'm gonna actually try to counterpick myself here.
You cannot, sir.
I'm very confident. Very confident. I'm pretty confident Assassin's Creed is coming out. They've never gone 2 years without a new entry, and it feels like that's just got to be here.
What? Assassin's Creed games have scored low before. They've come out bad.
True.
Yeah. I guess. I feel like they have a better track record for.
Yeah,
you got a tough shot because you can't counterpick yourself.
So,
because everyone else has been counterpicked on.
See, this is why I should have persuaded Tim to make that trade.
Yeah, that last counterpick is actually real tough. It seems like
it is. because all my picks are gone. So I like
mean,
the
you have a
idea of
couple you could
Assassin's
do.
Creed. I like the idea of Assassin's Creed. Pikmin absolutely screws me if it comes out because it's Nintendo, so it's going to review well. But how do I feel about Redfall?
That could be.
Yeah.
Redfall could be great, but this is going to be Xbox exclusive, right?
Yeah. And Windows, I think too. So
That hurts it. I don't care what people say. Right there, it's not coming out on PlayStation. If it's not absolutely amazing, people will not care about it.
I don't think it hurts reviews though.
I think it does.
Okay.
I not a lot, but like, I don't know.
On the,
You know,
I mean,
come back-
of these,
Guys, come back to me. It's fine.
yeah, nothing left here, my friend. It's all you. On this list,
So
I understand why you're thinking about it. I mean, there's not a lot of good stuff, left to counterpick.
So the sleeper in all of this is Hogwarts.
Could be.
A AAA name in Harry Potter coming out, but is it good? What's the track record? There's some, but nothing that I think people would pop off the page at. So I'm down to Redfall and Hogwarts.
Believe in the Potterheads.
That's another interesting point, is that Harry Potter has not had smooth sailing these days in terms of its fandom, in terms of its lineage, and a lot of that. So
if it's on the
This
fence,
needs to do well.
does it get the benefit of the doubt?
what do you say, John?
I said the game needs to do well.
Oh, it needs
just
to
hasn't
do well.
been hasn't
Right.
been enough content, good content out.
Well, I mean, yeah, controversy content. It's been pretty riddled.
Right.
I mean,
All of it.
All right, let's do this.
it worries me that I'm excited for Hogwarts Legacy. It worries me that it's taking place so far back, kind of like the Fantastic Beasts movies are. Because, like, man, I couldn't give a shit about those movies without the Hogwarts I know and love.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of going further back. Okay, we're getting more into movies here now at this point, but they still depended on Dumbledore and
Yeah, the fact that it's the kids, it's Hogwarts, it's the houses, it's the classes, like that is,
Right.
there's hope there.
So because I think this is such a roll of the dice and it's really juicy if we talk about it and it's early in the year, we're gonna go with Hogwarts.
Okay,
Do it.
draft is complete.
Okay.
So John, I did in fact time out, and that's why I couldn't see Armored Core because I just went to do the drop down for the list and it showed me nothing.
Oh, so you had to log back in.
Second and projected. Wild.
Interesting stuff.
Interesting. So yeah, let's go over it here. Let's do a quick recap. So we've got 6 games each plus a counter pick. We're all supposed to have a remake on our roster, but I don't have one, so I'm riding by the seat of my pants here. But I think that shows in the projections there. I think that strategy shows off the upside. But let's go through the list here. Josiah, Beers of the Kingdom drafts Tears of the Kingdom, the new Zelda game, Fire Emblem Engage, Suicide Squad, Killed the Justice League, Atomic Heart, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Space Remake, and his counter pick is JT's Hogwarts Legacy. JT himself has picked Marvel Spider-Man 2, Street Fighter 6, Hogwarts Legacy, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Alan Wake 2, Like a Dragon, Ishin, that's his remake, and then his counter pick is Tim's Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. JT, I'm sorry, Joe?
Is there a chance Spider-Man doesn't come out?
I don't think there's a chance. I don't think so. They've been so, barring disaster, I don't think so. They've been so head set about that on Twitter. Like, they've been like in the comments, like Brian Intihar has been like, we haven't shown it because we're not at a point where we can take time off to make a vertical slice. Like, that stuff takes time. Like, we're making the game and it's on track. Like, multiple different developers have hopped in and said, like, it's on track for 2023. Like, stop being weird, gamers. Like, we told you, we're like, that's it. Like, until we have something else to say. I don't think they would have been that vocal about this kind of stuff if they were worried about it. But who knows, man?
That seems to be the crown jewel of the AAA lineup for PlayStation this year. I think it's coming out. There's a very, very small percentage of my thought process where it's like, is
These
this game
days,
coming
I
out?
feel like every game is like that, though, Joe.
For sure,
You know?
for sure.
But to help JT's argument that it is coming out, I think about Ragnarok. That was 2018 to this year, or 22, I should say now. And Marvel Spider-Man was 2018. So I think, if that's any indication, this is coming out in the fall. That would have a longer development cycle than God of War did. Just saying. So I think you're okay, but I think the question is still there. It's not like 100% for me.
Certainly wasn't worth counterpicking. Certainly not worth that risk. On to my team, Dry Hop Digital. I've got Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Hollow Knight, Silksong, Diablo 4, Starfield, Redfall, Pikmin 4, and Alan Wake 2 is my counter pick. Let's hope that doesn't come out. Tim's greatest hits, he's got Final Fantasy 16, Octopath Traveler 2, Forza Motorsport for the Xbox Series X, Sea of Stars, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and his counter pick is my very own and now beloved Starfield.
Yeah. I honestly think that may have been what does me in.
Who knows, dude? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, so if you're watching the video, we've got some projections. Joe's projected to land with a 91.8. JT is projected to have a 92.1. I'm projected at 94.9, and Tim's projected at 87.4. So all over the place, to be honest. We're all kind of right there neck and neck. But I think me not picking a remake when I should have maybe, it gives me a game that has a couple extra points on the projection, but could be a detriment to my roster if I don't secure a remake at some point throughout the year. Because if I don't, that's a 0. That just stays as a 0. So,
but
they
John,
punished me hard for my pick on the remake or pick on Starfield. They're like,
yeah,
John, your mindset there with the remake is exactly what I was thinking. Like, yes, if you miss out on Dead Space and Resident Evil, that if something does get announced, odds are it's happening 4 months from now. Like, there's not going to be like hey, this is happening 5 years from now.
Right.
So I think you're probably okay, and you could sneak one in there.
So you're saying the KOTOR remake's coming this year?
That's exactly tomorrow. Yeah, it's crazy. I wish, man. Oh, that'd be great. I mean, how are we legitimately feeling about our teams?
Not confident. Yeah, I'm not incredibly confident. I see a world where this works out pretty well for me. I think I'm confident in my ability to play that free agent market and mess around in the waivers. I'm confident there, but got some question marks on my roster for sure.
Guys, if I can give any advice for how we try to take John down, he is quick to the free agent market. Do not sleep on this or forget about this league. Set your lineups, right? Like, this is what it is.
I'm a big spender too, baby. I'm a big spender. You're gonna have to outbid me.
He spent more fake currency on the game for Guardians than actual currency. It was crazy.
That's literally true.
So keep that in mind as we go along. If a big announcement drops and John's all of a sudden silent in the group chat, it's because he's here. He's here. So my team, I don't feel super great. I think it's top heavy. I think Tears of the Kingdom is a slam dunk, but that's what happens when you're a first overall pick. I'm Edmonton right now. I've got a lot of talent at the top. Not sure about my depth right now. But Fire Emblem, I think, is pretty safe. And then past that, I got a bunch of wild cards. Dead Space, I'm hoping selfishly, is really great. Tim, what were you going to say?
So the game, when I asked about the question about early access, was Hades 2. So supposedly Hades 2 is going to come out early access end of this year, but won't fully release till beginning of next year. So,
but I think it would count because Hades 1 did the same thing. They tallied those reviews. It's however OpenCritic decides to tally the reviews. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Hades 2 even hits early access this year. So
I don't either. But like theoretically, Tim, you could go pick that up or bid on it.
Yeah, it's
as
out
soon
there.
as we're done here.
And how does the counter picking work? Like when we just pick someone's game throughout and just counter pick a second.
Yeah, you can draft. You have to spend currency on it. So right now, those counter picks are also free agents. You have to draft a second counter pick. Again,
counter pick. Okay, I see it on here now.
Yep. So again, but I probably smart's a way to see how other people's rosters fill out. counter pick
Yeah.
something else throughout the year, but whatever. We have one more counter pick to use. We've got 6 more roster spots to fill, so we've got to stay active. Let's keep each other honest. Let's have fun. Let's play this all year. Let's see what it looks like at the end of the year, man. I can't wait.
You know, we're going to be
No problem.
talking about all of these reviews as they release on Busy Sticks, which is our all video game podcast. That's what you're watching or listening to right now. JT, how are you feeling about your team legitimately?
I'm pretty confident. Again, it's going to come down to the releases, and I think Spider-Man 2 is going to kill it. I think I don't
Safe
want to
bet.
put a hot take out there. I think it's going to be better in the first. I'm pretty confident.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
they already put out a sequel that was better than the first. That's called Miles Morales.
Exactly. There you go. So it for sure. I'm pretty confident on it.
Give me a Spider-Man DualSense.
Oh, dude. Oh my God, console covers
Within seconds.
Guys,
to match
I
my
don't even
Spider-Man
know.
I
PS4.
only use so many dual senses at a time.
Tim, first of all,
Only
I can
four
use as many as I
connect
play.
to
Tim,
at a time.
if I stretch my arms and I can't grab a DualSense, then I'm having a problem. I'm having a problem.
That was amazing.
What do you mean?
Shit, hang on.
Hey, guys, funny thing is, guys, my PS5's not in this room though.
Hey, I got the
My
headset.
PS5
Does
isn't
that
in this
count?
room either.
Oh, dang it. The headset does count. Yeah.
My PS5's
So-
not in my room either. I got
I
two.
can't-
The coolest Geekiverse gift ever.
Heck yeah, man.
I'm like looking around like I just magically had one on the shelf. Okay. All right.
You know, Daisy has those all in her room.
Dude, for real. I have everything but the red one at this point. I'm
Camo?
not counting the camouflage.
Yeah, don't count that.
It doesn't count. So just missing that, but
Can't see it.
can't wait to see what this plays out to be. This is going to be a fun caveat to the Geekiverse throughout the year. Stay tuned. Can't wait to hear what your picks would be. What do you think is going to be towards the top of that list? How are these games going to review? Is Starfield going to kill it? How well is Spider-Man and Zelda going to look? It's just good stuff all around. Guys, this was so much fun. I've been thinking about this really for the better part of 2 years since we last did it. So glad we're able to make this happen tonight. Anything I'm missing, John, before we wrap up here?
That's it, man. We did it. We found a date. We drafted games. There's more to come, though. We gotta stay active. I can't wait to see what the year looks like. I can't wait to see if PlayStation does a showcase, Nintendo has any surprises. Could be cool, man. Could be a cool year.
Xbox, you got a pulse? What's going on, right?
I don't know. Again, we still have to sit down and talk about our game of the year from last year. We have to sit down and talk about our most anticipated games of next year. Although I think this probably did a pretty good job covering a little bit of that. But good year for games coming up. A good year for Busy Sticks.
Agreed.
This looks like it's going to be a monster year. Can't wait to see everything play out. It's a busy first 5 months of the year with video game releases. But John nailed it on the head here. On Busy Sticks, we've got 2 fun episodes coming up. First one, we're going to talk about Game of the Year 2022. John and I are going to give our top 5 lists for that, just like we did last year. I think you're going to be surprised by some of the games that are on that list. Also, after that, the next week, we're going to do our most anticipated games of 2023. And again, those lists may not line up with what you saw here today. There might be some sleeper hits or things that we have not overly discussed today. So, Busy Sticks, you can watch or listen to every episode on podcast services around the globe, or you can watch at youtube.com/thegeekiverse, live at twitch.tv/thegeekiverse, and also facebook.com/thegeekiverse. For John, for JT, for Tim, I'm Josiah. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We had a blast. Can't wait to catch you soon on Busy Sticks. Have a wonderful new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.